You weren't born to kneel, not to systems, not to opinions, not to fear, and certainly not to anyone who demands your silence. No Kings isn't a rebellion. It's a reminder of who you truly are. Have you ever felt like something invisible was ruling your life? Like you were following orders, but you couldn't quite figure out who was giving them? No crown, no throne, and yet, there it was, a presence that told you how much you could dream, how loud you were allowed to speak, how far you should reach. You didn't bow, but somehow you still obeyed. Because in today's world, not all kings wear crowns. Some wear the face of fear. Others disguise themselves as doubt, insecurity, or the hunger for approval. Sometimes, it's that voice in your head whispering, "Stay quiet. Don't make waves. You're not ready." Other times, it's the weight of a past failure that still tells you you're not worthy. And each time, every single time, you surrender your inner truth to those voices, you're not just hesitating, you're handing over your crown. Let's be honest, most of us weren't conquered by swords. We were conquered by silence. We stopped questioning. We started performing, living for likes, for applause, for someone else's definition of enough. We learned how to fit in and forgot how to stand tall. But here's the wake-up call. No Kings is not just a catchy phrase. It's a personal rebellion. A declaration whispered by the brave. I own my life. No one else does. It means choosing discomfort over dishonesty. It means you don't shrink yourself to be accepted. You don't chase validation like a beggar hoping for scraps. And you don't silence your truth just to stay in someone else's good graces. Because your story doesn't need approval to be real. Your voice doesn't need permission to rise. And your power, it was never meant to be handed away. Not to fear, not to doubt, and definitely not to the imaginary kings that try to rule your mind. So ask yourself, who's sitting on your throne right now? And is it finally time to take it back? You see, once you start questioning who holds the throne in your life, you begin to notice something deeper, that the real battle, the loudest war, doesn't happen outside. It happens within you, and it begins the very moment your eyes open each morning. Every single day, before the world even touches you, before anyone sends you a message or demands your time, there's already a quiet protest happening inside your mind. It's subtle, but it's powerful, and it sounds like this. You're not good enough. Play it safe today. Don't speak up. Lower your expectations. Again. You'll never make it anyway, so why try? That voice doesn't scream, it doesn't force. It just chips away at your courage, like water carving stone. And most days, we listen. We obey. We let fear speak louder than our dreams. But here's the truth most people forget. There's another voice in you. Maybe it started as a whisper. But if you listen closely, if you really let yourself feel, you'll hear it rising now. It's time to live real. To stop pretending. To stop pleasing. To stop hiding. Stand up, speak out, take back your life. No kings, no masters, just you. Your voice, your path, your power. That voice isn't asking for permission. It's not interested in being liked. It's interested in setting you free. And that's what no kings truly means. It's not just a motto. It's a mindset. A moment-to-moment choice to no longer let toxic beliefs, old stories, and invisible doubts rule over you like silent tyrants. Because the most dangerous kings aren't out there. They're the ones in your head, whispering limitations dressed as logic. But you don't have to bow anymore. You can choose. You can rewrite the script. You can crown your truth, not your fear. So, who will you listen to tomorrow morning? The voice that cages you, or the one that dares you to rise? It doesn't happen overnight, does it? Taking your life back, reclaiming your truth. It's not one epic decision, not one lightning strike that changes everything. It's a series of small, almost invisible acts of courage, the kind no one applauds, no one notices, except you. And those quiet victories? They're where true power begins. It starts with something as simple, yet as difficult, as saying no. Not because you're being difficult, but because your heart is finally learning to speak. And this time, you're listening. It's choosing to stay true to your values, even when the world is screaming at you to fit into a mold. It's refusing to chase trends, titles, or approval, because deep down, you've started to realize you were never meant to follow the crowd. You were meant to follow your calling. These moments don't come with fireworks. There are no cameras, no cheering audience, just you, and the quiet strength it takes to choose yourself. And in that silence, you begin to understand. You don't need rescuing. There's no hero coming. There's no king with a golden solution, because you are the answer you've been searching for. You don't need a crown to be powerful. You don't need permission to matter. And you don't need a title to lead yourself out of the dark. Because the truth is, you are the power you were waiting for. You are the light, the voice, the quiet rebellion that doesn't ask for a spotlight. It simply chooses to rise. So no kings, no masters, just you. Becoming the person you were meant to be, one brave choice at a time. You've started to reclaim your life, one brave choice at a time. And maybe, in the stillness, you've asked yourself, am I the only one doing this? Am I the only one fighting this quiet battle? Let's be honest, it can feel that way. When you're walking away from what's comfortable, when you're saying no to expectations, when you're peeling off the labels others stuck on you, it can feel isolating, even lonely. But hear this, and let it sink deep. You are not alone. You are part of a silent uprising, a movement without banners or noise, a revolution that doesn't scream, but chooses, quietly, powerfully, every day. There are thousands just like you, people who may never go viral, who may never post their progress online, but who are out there fighting to live honest lives. There's a mother who spent years putting everyone else first, who buried her dreams so deep she almost forgot them. But today she picks up a journal, writes one line, I matter too. She's not just writing a sentence, she's rewriting her story. There's a teenager caught between popularity and authenticity who scrolls past the trends and stops at a quote that says, be the person you needed when you were younger. And in that moment, they choose truth over approval, even if it costs them the spotlight. There's a man, heart shattered, trust broken by someone who said forever and didn't mean it. No one sees the tears he wipes at midnight. No one claps when he gets out of bed the next morning. But he does, and that quiet act of resilience, it's more powerful than any speech. They are not rebels. They're not loud. They don't wave flags. They're awake to what matters, awake to who they are without the noise, awake to a life that may not be perfect, but is finally real. And maybe, just maybe, you're one of them too. You've seen it now. The quiet uprising isn't just happening around you, it's happening within you. Because No King's protest was never about a crowd. It was never about signs or noise. It's not a single event you show up to. It's a way of being, a way of living and thinking that begins in the smallest, rawest moments of your day. It's an inner movement, and every time you make a conscious choice to break free from the old patterns, you're part of it. It happens when you stop telling yourself, this is just how I am, and start asking, but who could I become? It happens when you catch yourself spiraling in self-pity, and instead of sinking, you say softly but firmly, I'm not a victim. I'm still here, and I still have power. It happens when you choose discomfort. Yes, discomfort, the kind that comes with growth. With setting boundaries, with saying no, with starting again after failure, with walking away from what no longer reflects who you are, because growth is rarely easy, but you've stopped craving easy. You're craving real. It happens in those fragile, unglamorous seconds when no one's watching. And you whisper, sometimes through tears, "I can do this." Not because you're fearless, but because you finally understood that courage doesn't mean being unafraid. It means choosing to rise despite the fear. That's when you stop just talking about change and start living it. That's when the phrase "No Kings" becomes more than a slogan. It becomes your stance, your mindset, your declaration to the world and to yourself that you no longer serve fear, shame, or old stories. No kings, no masters. Only you, standing in the full, unfiltered truth of who you are, not the version they trained you to be, not the version they expect, but the one that was buried beneath layers of doubt, now breaking through. Powerful, unshaken, and awake. This is what it looks like when you become the ruler of your own life. If you're waiting for a sign, this is it. Not to follow, but to rise. Because the crown you've been waiting for was never meant to sit on someone else's head. It was forged inside you, in the fire of every quiet decision, every silent yin stand, every brave breath that said, "I choose myself." So don't just watch this and move on. Let it stay with you. Let it ignite something. Subscribe to Motivation Hub Rise, not for more noise, but for clarity. Not for control, but for courage. Not to follow a king, but to remember. You were never meant to serve. You were born to rise. And tell us in the comments, what old crown will you take off today, so your truth can finally breathe? This is Motivation Hub Rise. We don't lead, we rise with you.